Hey, so today I wanted to make a video focusing on one of the Marines who is in my last video about the history of the dress blue uniform. So, as always, it is absolutely my honor and privilege to be the caretaker of this. And this is uniform to Corporal Hubert McDonald Schreiner. So he was born September 4th, 1922 in Fargeville, New York. His family pretty soon thereafter moved to Lock Haven, Pennsylvania, where he went to grade school and graduated high school there in 1940. He got a job as a butcher at Weiss Markets until he enlisted on June 22nd, 1943. So when he enlisted, he stood 5'8", 144 pounds. And based on his experience as a butcher in the civilian world, he was made a cook in the Marine Corps. So he went to butcher school and then was assigned to the 46th replacement draft after he went through Paris Island. And he joined 3-5 on May 17th, 1945. So uh, the 1st Marine Division landed on Okinawa April 1st. So he kind of caught up to the battalion midway through the push south. So right around the push for Shuri Castle, he was wounded. And he's not mentioned by name, but he was in the same company as Eugene Sledge. So referring to Sledgehammer's book here on the actions of K Company on that day. So about mid-morning on 29 May, 3-5 attacked the Shuri Ridge with Company L in the lead and Companies K and I following closely. Earlier in the morning, Company A, 1-5, had attacked eastward into the range of Shuri Castle and had raised the Confederate flag. When we learned that the flag of the Confederacy had been hoisted over the very heart of the soul of Japanese resistance, all of us Southerners cheered loudly. The Yankees among us learned that the stars and stripes that had flown over Guadalcanal were raised over Shuri Castle, a fitting tribute to the men of the 1st Marine Division who had the honor of being first into the Japanese citadel. We were all filled with a sense of accomplishment that night as we dug in somewhere around Shuri Castle. We in the ranks were well aware of its strategic importance to the progress of the campaign. Although the whole place was in ruins, we could still see that the area around Shuri Castle had been impressive and picturesque before its destruction by the incessant U.S. bombardment. Shuri Castle itself was a mess, and I couldn't tell much about its former appearance. It had been an ancient stone building surrounded by a moat and what appeared to have been terraces and gardens. So we dug in that night with the knowledge that even though we were at last in Shuri Castle, there were strongly entrenched Japanese still north of us in Wanadraw, east of us, and to the south of us. The lines were terribly confused to many of us in the ranks, and we assumed that the enemy could come at us from almost any direction. We attacked again the next day and got shelled badly. I was totally confused as to where we were for several days and can't clarify it now in my mind, even after careful study of the notes at my disposal. So, Sledge talks about being shelled badly, which makes sense because on that day, Corporal Schreiner received a wound to the abdomen by shrapnel. And on that day during the attacks, the best I can tell is 2 Marines from 3-5 were killed and 12 wounded. That's based on the casualty cards, but those records are not totally complete as far as the history division provides. So that's the best I can tell from my research. So despite being wounded in the abdomen, he returned to K Company for the rest of the Okinawa campaign, stayed with them through China, and then arrived back in the United States to be discharged on March 31st, 1946. So I strongly encourage Marines, active duty Marines out there watching, you can still go to Shuri Castle and walk those grounds. It's been rebuilt. And then, as always, on the collecting side, it's always an honor and a caretaker. It's always an honor to be a caretaker and preserve the history of our battalion, of course, and to get these Marine stories out there. So I hope you appreciate this and continue watching in the future. Thanks.